Well, good morning, you guys. Happy Monday. So I hope you all had a great weekend. So today, you guys, I'm actually in the Media Center with seniors working on graduation projects. So I'm going to walk you through what you're going to work on today while you're upstairs with Miss Pittman. So you need your handout, first of all, from her, and our Tears of a Tiger book. All right, so get what you need. Write your name. Today's date is November 5th, so add that up at the top. So what we're going to do today is actually read 3 chapters, and your handout is just asking some questions as we read along. So we're going to start with chapter, it's called Hey Coach, Can We Talk? And turn to page 23 in your book. All right, it looks like this. Page 23. So last week we talked a bunch about author's purpose, why someone chooses to write something. We talked about genre. I'm super excited to see your guys' posters that you finish on Friday of all the different styles of writing that are in this book, which is so interesting, why an author chose to write certain things in a certain format. So today we're going to look at 3 different chapters. They have different formats, so potentially different author's purposes as well. But we're actually going to focus on something called tone today. All right, and tone is the author's feelings towards whatever they're writing. So whoever is talking or writing, like their feelings, not ours as the reader, but the person who wrote it. All right, we're going to talk more about that later in your handout as well. But today, so for this chapter, we're just going to read this chapter out loud together. If you'd rather read it by yourself, that's fine, or just listen along, but make sure you watch this entire recording because I'm going to give you directions throughout the whole thing. So even if you want to read them on your own, make sure that you follow through with the recording. You can just mute me while I'm reading the book, but then you need to unmute me so that you hear directions, okay? So follow along. I'm starting on page 23, and I'm just going to read the whole chapter, all right? So, hey, Coach, can we talk? Andy's first day back to school, November 19th. Remember what day the accident happened? November 7th. All right, so we're all the way into the 19th now. And remember when you see little lines like that at the starting, that means it's people talking. So this is a conversation between Andy and his basketball coach. Hey, Coach, what's doing? How are you, Andy? How was your first day back to school? Not so good, Coach. It was rough. I feel okay. I mean, I aren't really busted up that bad. I got a few bruises and burns left over on the outside of me, but the inside of me is hurting. You know what I mean? I hear you, man. It's a rough scene to handle. How about your friends and your family? They're behind you, aren't they? Yeah, I guess. Me and BJ and Tyrone will never be the same, but we'll always be real tight because of this. And the other kids are trying real hard to be understanding. My folks, well, you know how it is. My dad keeps telling me to be strong and put this all behind me. My mom really won't look at me. She cries a lot, but she hasn't said much about the accident after that first night. And what about you, Andy? How do you feel about all of this? This is quite a bit for you to handle. I'm okay. Come on now. You just said you felt like you were hurting inside. What's going on? Well, if you really want to know, I wanted to die right after the accident. I wanted it to be me that was dead instead of Rob. He had so much going for himself. He would have got that scholarship too, Coach. You know he would have. He would have made it big in the pros too. He was 6 feet 5 inches and still growing. And he was my friend. You can't blame yourself, Andy. And if you had died instead of Rob, would you want him to be hurting like you are now? I don't know. I'm all mixed up. How long have you and Rob been friends? I remember the first time I saw him. Tallest kid in the 7th grade. He and Tyrone were best friends from elementary school, and they went around calling each other Tyronio and Roberto, like some kind of weirdos or something. Later on, they started calling me Andini, but it was never as cool as their names because Andrew just didn't sound good ending with an O. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hear you. After I got to know them, and the 3 of us started hanging out together, I decided it didn't sound so bad. Anyway, the first day I saw him, he was picking his hair out with his red pick with diamond-looking things on it. I went over to him and said, "Won't your mama get mad when she finds out you took her pick?" He slowly put the pick in his back pocket, slowly looked at me, and then proceeded to beat the snot out of me. We've been tight ever since. Nothing like a good fight to start out a solid friendship. Me and Rob and Tyrone had most of our classes together and even went out for the junior high basketball team together. BJ tried out too, but he didn't make it. I guess you know, Coach, that BJ has tried out for basketball every year for 6 years, including junior high, and never made it once. He keeps saying he's going to be the next Spud Webb. Yeah, that BJ is something else. He's got more guts than I'll ever have. It was BJ's idea to try to climb on the hood to rescue Rob. Like I said, he's the one with the guts. From what I hear, you have your share of guts and courage too. Without you, the other boys may have been injured much more than they were. Wasn't it you that helped get Tyrone and BJ out of the car? All right, just to check in, I'm on page 26, the top of 26. Don't believe everything you hear. I think it was the other way around. Actually, I don't really remember, but I couldn't get to Robbie. That's right. You couldn't. There are some things that are beyond your power to control. I could have controlled the drinking. I knew better. We all did. We just never figured it would happen to us. I hear you. I never will know why I didn't get hurt worse. I should have been hurt so bad that at least I had to stay home for a couple months. But they let me go home in 2 days. My burns weren't too bad. Well, except for the miscellaneous Band-Aids, I'd say you look pretty good, considering. Have you recuperated from that court ordeal yet? After I got out of the hospital, and after all the police investigations, and I found out that I had to go to court, I was really scared. I really appreciate you coming down there, Coach. No problem, kid. Just wanted you to know that we're all behind you. I was surprised so many kids from school were there. All the kids from SAD, several other teachers. Of course, Rob's parents, my parents, and Keisha was there. It was almost as bad as the funeral. When the judge talked to me, and I cried in front of everybody, I was kind of embarrassed. But I guess that was okay. I guess they understood. A lot of them was crying too. I was too, Andy. There's no shame in tears. Coach, can you explain something to me? Sure, Andy, if I can. I had been charged with DWI and vehicular homicide, but they dropped the vehicular homicide charge because of my age and good driving record. I ended up getting my license revoked until I'm 21 and a 2-year suspended sentence. Even I thought it was a real easy sentence, maybe too easy. Do you think that was right? Should I have been sent to jail or something? The judge did what he thought was best for your case, Andy. You got to stop punishing yourself. I think I would have felt better if I would have had to suffer and complain a little. You are suffering, Andy. The judge knows that. We all do. And we'll help you all we can. You come see me whenever you need to talk, okay? Yeah, man, thanks. When can I play ball again? What does your doctor say? All right, we're on page 28. We're about to finish this chapter. Page 28. I have nothing broken, just some slight burns, a few cuts, and a couple of ugly bruises. When I was in the hospital, they ran all these tests, but everything came out okay. They told me I was lucky. Yeah, right. Don't you have to go to the health clinic for your alcohol rehabilitation classes? Yeah, I go every Saturday from 6 in the morning till 6 at night. Wow, that's a long day. Yeah, they said they wanted my attention first thing in the morning. Well, they sure got it. That's even earlier than I leave for school. I went to the first one last week. It wasn't so bad. Actually, I learned a lot. Did you talk to the counselors there about returning to normal school activities, including basketball? Games start at 8, you know. Can you make it on Saturday? Yeah, no problem. They said they wanted me to have as normal a school life as possible. It's not like those programs that take away all your privileges completely. So I asked them about sports, and they said that as long as I didn't miss any sessions over there and was able to keep my grades somewhere above basement level, I could play basketball again. I'd like to try, Coach. It's been tough on all of us, Andy. We haven't had a practice, and we've forfeited 2 games since the accident. But I feel that it's time to move on. I think Robbie would have wanted us to keep playing, don't you? Yeah, I think he would have. We'll have our first practice tomorrow. I'll see you then. Thanks, Coach, for everything. All right, so that just finished page 29. So pause right there and listen to the directions, and then I'm going to have you pause the video so you can answer the questions, all right? So on your handout right here, this is the chapter we just read. Hey, Coach, can we talk? And you have 2 questions to answer. The first question says, what was Andy charged with after the accident? What was his punishment from the judge? So in the book, What was his actual punishment after he went to court? So I need you to find the answer and write it in this first box. The second question says, do you think that this was fair? So in your own opinion, do you think that he got a fair punishment from the judge? Why or why not? And I just want you to explain your thinking in this second box. All right, so pause the video, answer these two questions, and then when you're done, click play again, and we're going to move on to the next chapter. All right, so if you finish those two questions, we are now on page 30. This one is called Sad Songs, Juicy Gossip, Rhonda's Letter to Her Friend, November 22nd. So this chapter is really short, page 30 to 32. So follow along here, and you have two questions to answer after this chapter as well. All right? November 22nd. Dear Sandra, well, how is California treating you? Do you like it any better since you moved? My dad won't let me call you long distance anymore since we talked last month. The bill came in over $200, and he was ready to kill me. Even after that great Thanksgiving meal we had yesterday, he wouldn't give in. He just doesn't understand that when your best friend moves 2,000 miles away, you just have to do a lot of catching up. I've got so much to tell you. Just wait until you hear what happened at school. 2 weeks ago, right after a basketball game, Robbie Washington got killed in a car accident. It was awful. Andy Jackson was driving, and BJ Carson and Tyrone Mills were also in the car. Those three got out okay, but Robbie, he got burned to death because the car blew up or something. Everybody at school was crying, and they had this special memorial service for Rob. Then these people from downtown called grief counselors came to talk to us. We were supposed to share our sorrow with them. Yeah, right. Mostly they sat around and looked concerned and smiled a lot. What seemed to help us the most was talking in small groups with our friends and some of the teachers. It's going to be rough getting over this. Hardly any of us ever knew anybody who had died before. You kind of figure if you're 17, you'll live forever. But Robbie didn't. That's scary. Anyway, I told you that I've been kind of liking Tyrone ever since school started, but he never paid me much attention. Well, he called me the day after the accident, and we talked for about 3 hours. Good thing it wasn't long distance. He told me how the police questioned him and how bad he felt and how he was glad to have me, to talk to. He told me that he thought I was cute, but he didn't want to bother me because he thought I was going with Gerald. Be for real. I told him that me and Gerald were just friends. Gerald's cousin, Latrice, remember her? The one who got pregnant? And my older sister, Jackie, were best friends. So me and Gerald knew each other pretty well. But I never even considered going with him. So I told Tyrone all this, and he asked me if I would come over on Saturday. So we've been talking pretty regular ever since. I still can't get over it. He's so fine. Andy and Keisha are still hooked up. She said to tell you hi the next time I write to you. She said Andy is having a hard time adjusting to the accident. I guess I would too, if I was driving and my best friend had gotten killed. He gets these crying spells, she said, and gets real depressed. His mother is sending him to a shrink, I heard. As far as I'm concerned, his mama needs a shrink. When she comes to basketball games, which isn't often, she wears high heels and a silk dress and a full-length leather coat. All the other mothers wear sweatsuits and jogging shoes. She always seems uncomfortable there, like the noise of the game offends her or something. I don't remember his dad ever showing up at all. Well, I'm getting one of those sore spots on my finger from writing all this. If anything else happens this exciting, I'm going to just have to sneak and call you anyway. My dad won't really kill me. He just hollers a lot. I'm sending you the last issue of the Hazelwood Herald so you can catch up on all the rest of the school stuff. Right back as soon as you can. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Love, Rhonda. P.S. Girl, that Tyrone can really kiss. Makes me want to stand up and shout hallelujah. All right, so that's page 32. We just finished that chapter, the letter from Rhonda. So on your handout, you got 2 questions with this one. All right, right down here. From the chapter, Sad Songs, Juicy Gossip. Number 1, who is writing the letter? So who wrote that letter we just read? And question 2, who does she say that she likes? Who does she have a crush on? All right, so pause the tape, answer these 2 questions, and then click play when you're ready to keep going. All right, so if you are back with me, we are now in the last chapter we're going to read today, called If I Could Change the World. All right, and this starts on page 33. This one is written like a class assignment, so it looks like a page out of a notebook journal. And you guys have a couple handouts that go along with this one. So I'm going to read this. It's really short, and I explain the assignment to you. All right, it says, if I could change the world. Gerald's English homework, November 29th. Gerald Nickleby, English homework, November 29th. Personal essay. Topic, if I could change the world. If I could change the world, I'd get rid of peanut butter, Band-Aids, and $5 bills. I know this sounds like a weird list, but I got my reasons. First, I'd get rid of peanut butter. When I was little, peanut butter and jelly was my favorite kind of sandwich. Mama would fix it as a special treat, and it always made my lunchbox smell so good. But Mama left, and the peanut butter stayed. We get it free, so there's jars of it sitting around. Sometimes that's all there is. It sticks to my teeth, and it seems like it sticks to my bones together. It always makes me feel clogged up. I'd also get rid of Band-Aids for 2 reasons. 1, they're beige. They say in the box, skin tone is the color of the Band-Aids inside. Whose skin? Not mine. So I hate wearing Band-Aids because they're so noticeable, and people always say, how'd you get that cut or bruise or those stitches? And I always have to make up some reason about how I hurt myself. When Andy came back to school after the accident, he was wearing a bunch of Band-Aids. At least it took the attention away from me for a while. But I'd still eliminate Band-Aids, at least beige ones. Finally, I'd get rid of $5 bills. With a $5 bill, somebody's stepfather can buy a bottle of whiskey, a nickel bag of pot, or a rock of crack. He smokes it or drinks it and goes home and knocks his kids around, or his wife, before she got sick of it and left. He makes his kids wish they could leave. The next morning, he doesn't even remember what he did. With a $5 bill, Andy and the guys bought a 6-pack of beer. They ended up buying $5 worth of death. It seems like all a 5 spot can do is buy trouble. So I'd get rid of $5 bills. So to make my world better, I'd get rid of peanut butter, Band-Aids, and $5 bills. All right, and that's page 34. So we're done reading for the day. So let me explain your assignment that you're going to spend the rest of class on. So up here, your first box, tone. I want you to fill in. Tone is how the author feels. Okay, right there. Tone is how the author feels. Then, right here, it says, what are the 3 things Gerald said he would get rid of to make the world a better place? I did the first one for you. The item, peanut butter. I put a picture of the item, so you can just draw a picture of the next 2. Reason, why did he say he wanted to get rid of it? And I wrote, it reminds him that his mom left, and it makes him feel clogged up. So I kind of just summarized it in my own words. So what are the next 2 things he said he would get rid of to make the world a better place? Then down here, the question says, what is the tone of Gerald if I could change the world essay? How do you know the tone? Cite specific evidence. So how did he feel when he wrote the essay? Because he's the author of that. So how did he feel when he wrote the essay? And how do you know what words in the essay help you figure out how he's feeling about it? Then the next page of your assignment is you writing your own personal essay of if you could change the world, what 3 things would you get rid of and why? You need to make sure you follow all these directions, and if you don't have time in class today, take this home. It's due tomorrow, so take it home if you need to and finish this homework. But it needs to be written in complete sentences. You need to have 1 paragraph for each sentence, each of your items, so at least 3 paragraphs, just like his was. Explain why you chose each item, what does it make you think of, and why would you want to get rid of it in the world. Capitalize the first letter of each sentence, make sure you got punctuation at the end of every sentence, and make sure your words are spelled correctly. So take your time on this, all right? You have this page and the back side are extra lines for yourself. So again, this is due at the end of class. If you run out of time, take it home as homework. I expect this to be well written. So what 3 items would you get rid of to make the world a better place? All right, you guys, that's all I got today. So work hard, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, have an awesome Monday.